welcome to the uni series. On today's topic, we're going to be looking at getting to know Jesus on a personal level. Each of us as human beings has a thirst that's in us that needs to be quenched. It's like a desire, like a gap. This is where people have terminologies like purpose. You need to be purpose filled, you need to be purpose driven, something that helps you to make you feel like your life is worthwhile, it's meaningful. There's that thirst that we have, and that thirst needs to be quenched, and there are a number of sources that are there to quench that thirst. There's one particular source that we're going to talk about today, and it is getting to know Jesus, right? So, what does it entail, and what does it involve? Let me give you a brief experience from my uni days. There were moments when I just didn't know whether I'm going to pass this exam, like, because like, yes, I know that I've not really studied as much. I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna make it. I don't even know if I'm going to clear these exams and come out with a clear pass at the end of it. Or yeah, there were those moments. And one thing that would really help me was just sitting down. And I remember it was like every single time. There was a time like I would come out of church, and then like I'm going to write my exams. I was like towards the end of the exams, and every time I'd always be like, I just don't know how. But Jesus, I'm gonna clear these exams. I don't know how, but I'm gonna clear them. I would always have this mentality, and for sure, all the time, like I would clear. Thank God. Yeah, so that's like an experience that I had, and I am so grateful. First of all, I didn't even know what that mindset did then, but now I know. I just didn't know what it meant then. To have such a mindset to be like, I don't know how, but I'm gonna make it. Great. Yeah, so that's what really helped me then. And getting to know Jesus, like, it ranges. There's a lot of things, or rather, there are a number of things that can be done to get to know Him, right? And the three common ones, which I feel like they are said, like, oh my goodness, everywhere you will go, you will hear this, like how to get to know God or how to get to know Jesus. It's like, one, go to church; two, read your Bible; three, prayer. The constant ones. And yes, those are very valid. Get to church, read your Bible. Yes, go ahead and pray and do all that. And the number fourth one, right, is experience. Through experience, you will get to understand that you are human. You will get to know that you have faults. You will get to know that there are things in you that you don't like, things that, let's say, for example, you're unkind, you're not as compassionate, right? You're not as forgiving. There are things like that that you get to learn about yourself. And sometimes when we look at a relationship with Jesus or getting to know Him, it can feel like, because Jesus is put on such a pedestal, like He never made a mistake, He never did wrong, like it can be a lot for one to take in. And it's important when you are in your uni days or whatever stage you're at in your life to get to know Jesus on a personal level, where it has nothing to do with you going to church, it has nothing to do with your parents or your friends, but just you. Yeah, because you've decided to have this connection with Him so that you can get to the Heavenly Father, And why I'm saying it's personal, it's the various pointers that I earlier mentioned. Like, you're human, you're bound to do a lot of things that are not going to be pleasing to yourself or to other people, right? And that's where Jesus comes in, because he doesn't require you to go to him to be all perfect, all knowing, and all that. As it is mentioned, like, you go to him in truth and in spirit. That is the truth of who you are. You don't have to hide yourself. You go to him to be like, like, I got this behavior and I got this trait, and the things that I've done, ABCD, and I am here. And from there, the relationship begins. It's an honest one. Yeah, and that's the relationship that you get to develop with Jesus. So through experience, you get to know him and truly understand him and how he works in your life. I believe Jesus works in our lives differently. He doesn't work in the same way. He is the same, yes, but he doesn't work in the same way in each and every one of our lives because we're different. So those are ways in which you can get to know Jesus and he can get to know you. So what tends to happen is that many of the times, like, okay, when you're starting out, right, it's like university, in your college, you're all hyped up, pumped up, you're coming from home, you used to go to church like every Sunday. I got Jesus with me, and like you start out, you're all good, you just, Jesus energy in you. And then along the way, it's like you were here, and then it's like, who? Yeah, there's some who just maintain it all through the way, and congratulations. And there's some who it drops. Life experiences, school gets in the way, and then you're just like, I just don't know, and it can be a bit tricky. Like, you don't know if you should even go back, like, should I get back again with Jesus and have that relationship with him? And as I've said, like, many of us try to associate the relationship that we have with Jesus with the church. And okay, yes, through the church you can get to know Jesus. As I've said, it's one of the ways you can get to know him, and there are these other ways of which you can also get to know him. But combined together, those ways of getting to know Jesus, it's very profound. Yeah. So as you get through that hiatus of you were here and then you were there, and then you're like, it's important to know that yes, you're human, and if such a thing happens, like you're on a high, you get on a low, there are ways in which you can get back. And if, let's say, you've decided that Jesus is your source, right, as I've said, that thirst is your source. To quench that thirst, you have to decide yourself. Nobody has to make you decide, but when you decide that Jesus is that source that quenches that thirst for you, and you've gone through that hiatus, there are ways in which you can get back, right? There are ways, and I'm not saying get back to be on the same level as another person or where the church is at now, but you to get back to getting to know Jesus, and for him to get to know you at whatever stage that you're at. I'll give you this example, and this goes for the excuses that we have, right? Especially when we're at that stage of life, schoolwork and all that. Let's say you're in university and college, and if a day goes by and you've not studied, or you've not, let's say, you've not done an assignment that's due, your work piles up. It piles up, and then it reaches that point where, like, let's say the following day, that's when the exam will be there, or that's when you're supposed to hand in the assignment. Now you're trying to do this workload within a short period of time, right? So your work piles up the more you don't do it. It's the same way with the relationship with Jesus. The more you don't make an effort, the more you don't have, the more that connection with him lessens, right? And it's all up to you to whether that relationship lessens or it grows. And it's minimal things that you do, right? And nowadays, church has gone digital. If you're not able to attend it online, physical, you can attend online, right? And there are a number of sources where you can get information. Now the Bible is also digital. You cannot just, if you don't have a physical Bible, there's a digital Bible, and there's so many Bible apps, and so many Bible apps that have got devotions and all that. As I've said, it's the minimal things, and sometimes it could just take you reading a scripture. It could just take to you just listening to that worship song and just having that conversation with Jesus. It doesn't have to take like the whole day and all that. Just minimal efforts that you have to put in, so that that interaction with him, it grows. Even when you're having just an experience and you're having a difficult time and moment, you just decide to be like, I need you. I need your help at this point in time. I do not know what to do. It's at that point, and you've just said it to yourself in your heart, and you're in a crowd full of people. You're like, I feel this way about this person. Please help me to feel better about this person. It's those things. You have to make just even the latest effort, but you do it consistently and you do it every single day, and your effort will pile up. Yeah, so that's what I have to say about it. And most importantly, as I earlier mentioned, there's a thirst that each one of us has, and what source you choose to quench that thirst is all up to you. And it's all up to you whether that source will bring out the best in you or to bring out the worst in you, right? So make wise choice, a wise decision for yourself. From me, until the next time, it's goodbye. On today's topic, we'll be looking at get out of your room and mingle or interact with other people. Let me give you a brief experience. So from the time I started my varsity years, first year until final year, there was definitely my interactions, like they sort of changed from the way I used to interact, let's say from first year to final year, right? I would say the most time where like I made an effort to interact with people was in first year, because I recall like a friend of mine actually had visiting Friday, where it was intentional. We were like, we're going to have visiting Friday. We're just going to visit other people outside of our classroom and those that we knew, and it was really fun. Like when I look back, it was so much fun. We'll go visit, they would give us drinks, we'll chat. It was fun. But as the years, or rather as I moved up, like as I went further on with my studies, there was less interaction I had with making an effort to like interact or mingle with people. So like I even had a routine. Like there was I didn't even know, but now like I know it was a routine. It was class, I get to my room, like either cook, clean, or anything like that, and then I sit on my bed, eat, rest, wake up to study some. Before you know it, it's the following day, the cycle, just like that. So it became something like that. Like even when I go to buy my groceries or anything like that, I was just straight from buying groceries, maybe buy some food for myself, get to the room. Like I couldn't wait to just get into my room and just sit on that bed. That's something that like I really looked forward to. Yeah, so the lesson that I learned from this is that one, a mind that is not exercised becomes stagnant. Yes, your studies are exercising your mind to a certain extent, right? You are getting a particular skill, you are learning. That's good. Also, exercising of the mind comes when you frequently expose yourself to things that previously you wouldn't do, but you know that when you do them now are beneficial for your mind, right? For example, interacting with people or having a conversation with another person, that sparks something in your mind. It makes you think, right, to a certain level, and that's something that exercises your mind. So that's one thing that I learned. Like a mind that is stagnant is one that is not exercised, and exercising your mind is not only your studies, but also when you take yourself out there and expose yourself to things that exercise your mind and benefit you in return. So number 2 is what you fill up your mind matters, or what you fill up that particular space or that particular gap, or what you fill yourself up in that free time that you have matters a lot, because the more you consistently do something, it becomes a habit, right? And when something becomes a habit, if it's a good habit, it benefits you in the long run. If it's a bad habit, it's something that will always drag you down. Like, I'll give you this example. The habit that it became a habit, to be honest, like where I would go back to the room, watch series, TV, and all. I mean, watch series and movies. It became a habit such that even nowadays, like when I'm eating, I need to watch something. And I'm observing that when I do that, it sort of lessens my sensitivities to the food that I'm eating. And I love food. I want to taste the food that I'm eating. So that's it. It's worrisome, I should tell you. So, like, that habit, that what I was doing became a habit, and it's a habit now that I have to make an effort to break free from it because I want to enjoy my food. Yeah, so that's something that I learned. And thirdly, like, confidence with other people is birthed when you frequently interact with people, when you mingle with people. It is not birthed when you stay in that room and you're watching your series or your movies. You need to get out. You need to get out and actually interact with actual people, right? And not people online on the internet or whatever device that you're using to watch others. Make an effort to interact with other people so that confidence is built in you. So that's a lesson I learned. So, what I could have done better. So, definitely, as the topic states, getting out of the room and interacting or mingling with other people. Like, it's from the small things, like as I went to buy groceries and all that. How well do I interact with the person on the counter and all that? Here's my understanding of this. It's one thing to do something and do it on a regular basis and not be aware of it. And it's another thing to be aware of what you're doing. Because then when you are aware, you become intentional with what you're doing. You make an effort to be like, okay, I didn't like how I interacted with that other person. So the next time I do this particular activity, I will do better in this way or that way. Right there, now there's intent because you're aware of it. And another way I believe I could have done better is, the smaller amounts that you spend, like every month, every now and then, to buy something for yourself, and then you go to the room and you eat and you do all those things. Like, those smaller amounts they could be kept to do something bigger for yourself. And getting out, it doesn't really also necessarily mean you taking yourself out, like spending money and all that. But it could just be going out for a walk. It could also mean getting involved in extracurricular activities, right? So that you can interact with other people, so that you can get to know other people. It's all that helps you to be a better version of yourself. So those are the things I could have done better. So what are the benefits? What are the benefits when you get out there? One, confidence. You become confident in how you interact with other people. If you were shy before, if you were not as outspoken, the more you practice, the more you become better. And what better way, or what a better time to practice than in your uni days? It's okay if earlier on people laugh at you, if people are not as comfortable, or if you feel uncomfortable. It's okay. But the more you practice, the more you put yourself out there, the more you become better, the more you become confident. Another thing is that there's a book that is known as How to Win Friends and Influence People by Daniel Carnegie. So in that book, basically you learn about how to influence people, and how can you do that if you don't interact with other people, if you do not take yourself out there. So that simply means taking yourself out there will help you to have an understanding of other people and how it is that you can interact with them. What exactly makes someone to become or to think this way? You can only learn that when you take yourself out there and you interact with other people. And thirdly, the benefit that you can get, it's social skills. You will learn how to socialize with other people, right? In certain spheres, maybe in a classroom sphere, how do you interact with other people? When you're preparing for your presentation, when you've gone for an outing, how are you interacting with other people? So those are social skills that you learn. And social skills, trust and believe, that's a skill that you will need. You will need as you go out there in life after varsity and all that. That's a skill that will benefit you greatly. And what better place to practice or to learn that skill than where you are? So make the most of where you are, get out, interact, mingle. Of course, not forgetting your books. Make sure that when you have time for your studies, you do what you need to do. From me, it's goodbye until the next topic. On today's topic, we'll be looking at focusing on your personal growth. A brief experience back in uni, I used to take care of myself in such ways like, your regular baths, bathing every day, making sure that at least you apply some lotion on your body, even dressing proper, as well as like combing the hair, and also like when the monthly cycle comes, the period, making sure that I just take care of myself well. So like that's how I knew how to take care of myself, right? And that's how I understood what personal growth was. And though I really like didn't have much intention of like even wanting to learn about personal growth and grooming myself and all those things, like it really didn't come to mind like I need to learn or I should learn some more and all that. So I would say the lesson that I learned is that we all come from different backgrounds, and based on where you come from, there are certain things that you have learned or certain things that you have been taught that have created this persona that is you, right? The beliefs that you have and how it is that you take care of yourself. So it's based on where you come from and what it is that you have learned along the way. Though that doesn't mean that you shouldn't add on some things, or you shouldn't unlearn some things, right? Growth is all about learning and expanding your mind, and that's something that I can say I have learned from the experience that I have had, right? So why this particular topic? Well, growth is very important, and to human beings it's something that elevates you, right? It takes you into spaces or places where you meet great opportunities, where you'll be able to open doors for yourself, right? And that's where growth takes you in any capacity or way. That's what it does. So that is why this particular topic is very important. And growth is personal. It's something that you have to decide that you as an individual, you want to take it on and you want to groom yourself so that you can better yourself as time goes on. So there are a number of things that encompass personal growth, right? From your physical to your emotional, your social, your mental, your spiritual. All those are aspects in which as a person you can grow in. And it's one thing to just have things happen to you, and not realize what impacts they are having. And it's another thing to actually know that, okay, this thing I'm experiencing is having this much impact on me. Because then it comes with intention. Then you are able to take the lessons that you need to take in. So, for example, I'd say like physical growth, um, like the way I used to care for myself, the regular baths and all that. But there are things that you could add on to that, right? You could learn how, okay, like how does one bath themselves properly? Maybe I just don't know. I knew this particular way, but is there like a way that other people do it? And maybe I can get some pointers, And the thing about today is that with social media, there's so much information out there, right? And there's great information which you can pick on and add on to what you already know to even be better, right? You can also learn about the different types of exercises that are there, and I believe at least every college or varsity has some form of training, or people who do runs, walks, and all that. And it could also be like a way of you interacting with other people, but also growing yourself physically, right? When it comes to mental and social aspect, you could also take on some courses, right, that could help you to be better mentally. Are there book clubs that are at school that you could get involved in and all that? It's all about finding ways that you could that resonate with you and that would help you to be better. That is in all those stages I've mentioned. Like each and every other person, like we all need to grow holistically, but however you grow and whether you actually grow is up to you. So that's what I would say about what encompasses personal growth, right? Emotionally, you chat with friends, you have regular conversations with yourself, you date yourself, and all that. Spiritually, you learn on how to do that. As I've said, a number of sources, so it's up to you to have an open mind for you to learn. So, what are the benefits of personal growth? One is that it will set you apart because of the way you've groomed yourself. There's a certain way in which you also package yourself. You know that, okay, for me, these certain outfits work out, these other outfits don't work out. You will know that, okay, I think my style is like this, and that's something that other people will be able to recognize from you, to be able to be like, oh, she's good at this, oh, he's good at that, oh, you want someone who does this is the particular person that does this. So it sets you apart. When you grow, you are set apart, you have a certain age, there's confidence that you have as a person because you know yourself, you know what capabilities that you have, you know your strengths, you know your weaknesses. There is no way that you can decide to grow and you don't learn about yourself. In turn, you will learn about yourself. You will take the lessons and then you will put what you have into action, and you will become a better person and open opportunities for yourself. I believe like opportunities are there, but it takes those people who are very intentional about their growth and who are proactive to be able to see opportunities and to be able to grow themselves in a better way, and also in the future endeavors that they will enter into as time goes on. So that's what I can say about personal growth. It's something that's very beautiful, and when you're taking it on in like your 20s, your uni days, it's your identity phase. You will do some things, you will make mistakes, you will learn and all that, but the key thing is having an open mind to taking in the lessons, right? And also taking in the wins that come along the way, and being very intentional about that, to be like, I'm going to pursue this particular thing because I want to grow in that way. It's not everything that you have to get involved in, be busy here and there and there. Focus on one thing, be present in it, learn from it. Once you get the lesson, you jump onto the next thing. From me, it's goodbye until the next topic.